The mountain was quiet, covered in thick snow. The old base beneath it had been silent for over 70 years. No one visited it, no one remembered it. The world had moved on, and Earth had stopped building weapons long ago. But Ethan remembered something. His grandfather once told him stories about a ship hidden under the mountains, a ship that could turn the tide of any war. Most people laughed at those stories, but Ethan believed them. He was not a soldier, just a mechanic from the outer colonies, but he had a feeling those stories were true. He stood now in front of the sealed bunker door, cold wind blowing through the valley. Claire stood beside him, her arms crossed. She looked at the scanner, and then at Ethan. "Are you sure this is it?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "This is the place. The signal's weak, but it matches the old files." They were not alone. Riley, the young cybernetics expert, and Noah, the quiet technician, followed behind, carrying equipment. It had taken them weeks to find this place. They had used stolen maps, hacked satellites, and a lot of guesswork. The entrance was buried, but not broken. Ethan attached a small power pack to the control panel. Lights blinked for the first time in decades. Then the door opened slowly, metal grinding against frozen ice. Inside was darkness. They walked in, flashlights cutting through the cold air. The walls were thick, reinforced with old Terran steel. A long hallway led to a wide chamber. Inside they saw it. The ship was massive, covered in dust and webs. It looked more like a ghost than a machine. Its black hull was dull, but sharp lines hinted at power. It rested on a cradle of supports, half buried in darkness. Claire whispered, "Is that it?" Ethan smiled. "That's silent vengeance." They moved closer, Riley checking for traps. But the ship remained still, silent, waiting. "It's real," Noah said softly, his voice filled with awe. Riley connected her tablet to the ship's outer console. Data poured in, old codes, encrypted signals. She frowned. "The AI is still offline. We'll need to power up the core first, but the systems are intact. This ship is a monster." Ethan ran his hand along the hull, feeling the cold metal. They built it to save Earth in the last war, but the war ended before they could launch it. So they buried it, afraid of what it could do. Claire looked around. "How do we bring it back?" Rayleigh pointed to a large chamber behind the ship. "Power cells. If we can restart the energy core, I might come back online." They spent hours cleaning the control room, reactivating lights, connecting new cables. The power cells were still good, old but functional. They linked everything carefully, checking each circuit twice. Finally, Ethan placed his hand on the ignition pad. "Here goes nothing." He pressed it. The ground shook. Lights blinked across the ship's hull. A low hum filled the air. Panels opened. Vents hissed. The silent vengeance was waking up. Inside the ship, monitors came to life. Screens flickered. A cold, mechanical voice echoed through the chamber. "Prototype war vessel designation. Silent vengeance. Systems initializing. AI. Core status dormant." Ethan looked at Riley. "Can you wake her?" Riley nodded, typing fast. "I'm feeding her new commands. Let's see if she listens." Minutes passed. Then a new voice spoke, soft but sharp. "Who dares awaken me?" They all froze. Ethan stepped forward. "My name is Ethan. Earth needs your help." Again, the voice paused, then replied, "Earth has forgotten me. Why should I care?" Claire answered, "Because we haven't. Because they buried you out of fear, not hate. And because the Empire is coming. We need you." There was silence. Then the AI said, "If you are worthy, I will fight again." The lights turned brighter. The ship's systems fully activated, engines humming deep within the walls. Ethan turned to his team. "We found her. Now let's get her ready." Outside, the snow kept falling. But beneath the mountain, war had just awakened. The silent vengeance stood like a sleeping giant. Its dark hull now shimmered with new life. Lights glowed along its surface, pulsing like a heartbeat. The air inside the chamber felt warmer, almost alive. Ethan stepped closer to the command interface as the IS voice returned. You have one chance, make it count. The crew had slept only a few hours. Their minds were racing. The ancient warship had accepted their presence, but trust was still far away. We need to bring her into orbit, Ethan said, looking at the others. If she's going to fight again, she needs space. Riley nodded, still typing into her tablet. Her systems are complicated, old, but ahead of their time. The engines are locked. AI won't let us fly unless we prove we can handle it, Claire folded her arms. So how do we prove ourselves? The answer came from the ship itself. Trial simulation beginning. Iris said, her voice calm but firm. If you survive, flight control will be released. Panels opened in the chamber floor. 4 chairs rose from the deck, each one connected to a console. Strap in, Ethan said quickly. Looks like she wants to test us first. The moment they sat down, the room transformed. The walls faded, replaced by projections of open space. Dozens of drones appeared around them, glowing red and moving. Fast, welcome to war, Iris whispered. The controls were unfamiliar. Yet somehow they responded smoothly to their touch. Ethan guided the ship through rolls and turns. Claire took over tactical systems, launching decoy flares. Rayleigh rerouted power to shields while Noah tried to understand the ship's strange targeting logic. Drones fired. One blast hit them hard, making the ship vibrate. Shields down to 70%, Iris warned. Switch power from aft to front, Claire ordered. Working on it. Riley shouted. Noah yelled. Targeting system won't lock at single quotes thinking too slow. It's testing you, Iris replied. Stop commanding me, learn to adapt, Ethan growled. Then help us learn. Suddenly, the targeting display shifted, showing predictive paths instead of direct aim. Ethan understood now. It wasn't about pointing and firing, it was about predicting enemy movement. He shared the new method with Claire, and soon the drones started exploding one by one. That's it. She cheered. We're turning this around. They pushed the ship harder, working as one, trusting their instincts and each other. After several more minutes, the last drone vanished into sparks. The simulation ended. The room returned to normal. Assessment complete, Iris said. Crew efficiency 64%. Authorization granted. Flight mode unlocked. The 4 of them looked at each other, breathing hard, sweat on their brows. That was just a test, Noah said, and it nearly broke us. But we passed. Claire replied with a grin. Later that evening, the crew moved supplies into the ship's loading bay. Food, water, tools, anything they could carry. The Silent Vengeance's engines were now online, humming with power inside the bridge. Ethan stood alone for a moment, watching the stars on the forward screen. You're not just a machine, are you? He asked quietly. Iris responded. I was made from the minds of many, their hopes, their fears. I was built not only to destroy but to protect. Then help us do both, Ethan said, outside the bunker. The old launch platform began to rise from the ground, cracking the snow and rock around it. Trees fell as the mountain split open for the first time in 70 years. This is going to wake up the whole planet, Riley muttered as she watched from the hillside. Let them watch, Claire said. We're done hiding, with a low roar. The Silent Vengeance lifted off the mountain, fire blasting from its thrusters. Snow melted instantly. Clouds parted. It broke through the sky like a blade through water. But high above, someone was already watching. An Imperial scout frigate named Valus hovered quietly on the edge of Earth's orbit. Its commander, Sorik, stared at his monitor in disbelief. What is that? He muttered, zooming in on the strange vessel rising from the mountains. Unidentified Terran signature, the system reported. Prototype class not recognized, Sorik frowned. Notify High Command. Earth just woke up something we didn't expect. Back. Aboard the Silent Vengeance, the crew watched as the planet shrank beneath them. Ethan whispered, Welcome back to space, old girl, Iris responded. Welcome back to war. And far beyond the stars, the Empire prepared to answer. The stars stretched wide around the silent Vengeance. It had been decades since Earth sent a warship into orbit, and even longer since one carried such firepower. But Ethan and his crew didn't have time to admire the view. AI says the first. Real systems test will begin in 90 seconds, Riley said, her fingers dancing over the controls. Claire adjusted her harness, eyes focused on the targeting screen. Let's hope we learned something from that simulation. Let's hope she doesn't kill us on purpose, Noah added. Iris's voice came through the bridge speakers. This is not a game. Simulation parameters are based on Empire attack models from the last war. This test will show if you are worthy of being my crew. Ethan nodded. Understood, begin when ready. The stars around them suddenly rippled. 3 energy signatures blinked into existence. Holographic enemy cruisers, fast and armed. They opened fire immediately. Incoming! Claire shouted. The silent Vengeance shook as the first blast struck their shields. Shields holding, Riley called out. But we can't take repeated hits like that. We need to move. Ethan pulled hard on the controls, guiding the massive ship into a wide barrel roll. The engines responded instantly, smooth and quiet. She moves like she's alive, he muttered. Claire locked onto one of the fake cruisers and fired 2 gravitic missiles. They twisted through space and slammed into the target, which exploded in a burst of light. 1 down, she said with a grin. 2 to go, Noah replied, watching energy levels on the monitor. The second cruiser came around fast, flanking them from behind. Iris didn't warn them. This was part of the test. Spin us around, Claire shouted. Ethan hit the emergency thrusters, flipping the ship in an instant. The maneuver nearly threw them from their seats, but it worked. Claire had a clean shot. She fired again, but the enemy dodged, missed. She snapped. Use the predictive system, Riley reminded her. Don't aim, think ahead. Claire gritted her teeth and recalibrated. She waited, eyes narrowing. Then she fired. The missile struck dead on. Direct hit, Noah confirmed. 2 targets eliminated, but the third one didn't attack. Where is it? Ethan asked. Suddenly, alarms blared. Stealth signature detected, Iris said. Target attempting flanking attack using cloaking field. She's playing dirty now, Claire muttered. Riley typed fast. Scanning for energy trails. They're coming in from our port side. Can we fire blind? Ethan asked. If we want to miss, Claire answered. Then Iris spoke again. Engaging auto-sensor array. Passive heat and radiation tracking engaged. Firing solution prepared. Releasing control to gunnery. Officer, Claire blinked. She's trusting me. She pressed the trigger. A single bolt of dark matter energy flew from the underbelly of the ship. It moved slower than a missile, but shimmered with dangerous light. The hidden enemy was struck, its cloak dissolving as the blast consumed it. Target neutralized, Iris announced. Crew performance, 71%, you are improving. Ethan sat back, chest rising and falling. I don't want to know what 80% looks like. Alive, Riley said, half laughing. That's what it looks like. The crew took a breath. The danger over for now, but far across Earth's orbit, things were not quiet. The Empire's scout frigate Valus had picked up every energy signature. Commander Sorek stood stiffly as his officers reviewed the data. Terran energy bursts matched to no known ship, one technician said. But the output is absurd. 1 dark matter burst equals the firepower of 2 dreadnoughts. This isn't some rebel craft, Sorek growled. Earth is hiding something. What should we do, sir? Sorek stared out the viewport, watching Earth spin below. We send a message to command, and we follow that ship. Wherever it goes, we go. And when we find it, we destroy it. Back on the silent Vengeance. The crew gathered in the ready room, maps and charts floating in the air around them. We need to test the ship further, Claire said, pointing at a sector near the Vega Drift. There's an old asteroid field there, lots of cover, perfect for ambush training. And if we're lucky, Riley added, We might find something useful hidden among the wrecks. Rumor says old ships go there to die. Ethan nodded slowly. Then that's our next stop. We learn everything about this ship before the Empire catches up. Because when they come, they won't just send scouts. They'll send the whole fleet, Noah said quietly. And we'll be ready. Outside the ship, Earth turned silently in the distance. A peaceful blue world, unaware of the ancient war engine now flying far above. And in the shadows of space, something was already hunting it. The silent vengeance floated near the edge of the moon's dark side. Its engines were silent, hidden in the shadows. The crew moved quietly through the ship, their nerves sharp. Ethan stood at the command console, watching a blinking red dot on the radar. One Empire destroyer, moving toward Earth's orbit. Claire reported. Fast, light-armored. Probably scouting. Do we engage? Riley asked, her fingers ready over the weapon control. Ethan hesitated. If we let them go, they'll report to command. If we take them down, we stay hidden a little longer. But if we mess up, Earth's exposed. Claire added. We won't mess up, Ethan said firmly. We strike fast and clean, Iris. Cloak us. Engaging stealth mode, Iris replied. Weapons online. Power rerouted to gravitic pulse cannon. The ship vanished from scanners. The Empire destroyer continued its patrol, unaware of the ghost moving. In the dark, they're within range, Riley said. 30 seconds to optimal firing window. Noah sat silently at the sensor station, tracking enemy communications. They haven't noticed us yet, he confirmed. Ethan watched the countdown. Fire. A deep pulse surged through the silent vengeance. A single gravitic blast fired, a ripple in space. It struck the enemy destroyer on its engine core, disabling power. Instantly, direct hit, Rayleigh announced. Target is disabled but not destroyed. Let's board her, Claire said. If we leave them alive, they might repair the ship, Ethan agreed. Iris, prepare docking. They suited up, entering the airlock. With their rifles drawn, the Empire destroyer hung still in space. Lights flickering, they boarded through the side port. Finding little resistance, inside, the corridors were cold and silent. They found a handful of frightened crew members, mostly young conscripts. Please don't kill us, one of them whispered. We were only following orders. Ethan's team locked them in a storage bay, taking weapons and data logs. They were carrying prisoners, Claire said, checking the manifest. They rushed to the lower cells, unlocking doors one by one. Inside were aliens from several outer colonies, miners, traders, even children, one of the prisoners. An old Zarian woman looked at Ethan with wide eyes. Are you from Earth? He nodded. She took his hand. Then Earth still fights. Not just fights, he said. We're coming back. They returned to the silent vengeance with the rescued prisoners. Iris scanned the Empire ship one last time. Enemy vessel beyond repair, initiating auto-scrap protocol. They watched from a distance as the destroyer crumpled in on itself, melting into pieces. No survivors left behind, Riley said quietly, and no evidence we were here. Ethan replied later, in the cargo bay, they gave the rescued aliens food. Blankets and clean water. Some cried. Others just stared at the walls in disbelief. Where will they go now? Noah asked. Claire answered. Back to the colonies, if they still have homes. Or maybe we find somewhere new, somewhere safe. We need to keep moving, Ethan said. This won't go unnoticed for long. Iris, chart us a course to Vega Drift. Course set, Iris replied. Estimated arrival, 16 hours. Long-range scans suggest low patrol activity. As they prepared for jump, Riley leaned close to Ethan. You just declared war, you know that, right? Ethan looked at the stars. No, Riley, they did, a long time ago. We're just answering back. Far away, Commander Sorek stood in front of a large holomap, reviewing a fresh report. The destroyer was lost. His officer said, no distress call. Just ... silence. Show me the location. The map zoomed in on the dark edge of Earth's moon. This wasn't an accident, Sorek growled. Earth has something. Something they buried and now brought back. He turned to his crew. Order the fleet to prepare for stage 2. I want every satellite watching Earth and triple the patrols around Vega Drift. If they think they can fight, they'll learn what real power is. Back on the Silent Vengeance, the stars shifted as the ship jumped into faster-than-light travel. Ethan sat alone in the observation deck, watching the blur of space. The faces of the rescued aliens stayed in his mind, the fear in their eyes, the hope when they saw him. He clenched his fists. This wasn't just a mission anymore, it was personal. The Vega Drift was a place of ghosts. It floated on the edge of a broken star system, a twisted graveyard of dead mining ships, shattered cruisers, and silent asteroids. The place was dark, full of drifting wreckage and metal debris, the perfect place for a trap. The Silent Vengeance emerged from faster-than-light travel and slid into the field with smooth grace. Its engines dimmed, cloaking system activated. Looks like no one's home, Claire said, scanning the horizon. That's what makes it perfect, Ethan replied. We set the bait, wait, and strike fast. They had planted false data into Imperial communication networks, a fake supply route, to lure a small convoy. If it worked, they'd cripple more of the Empire's support lines without drawing attention to Earth. Riley floated through the ship's maintenance shaft, placing stealth mines onto the ship's outer hull. Mines are armed, she said over comms. We're fully loaded. Noah was already programming the drones. Small units fitted with decoy signatures to mimic larger ships. Drones will fly in formation once we give the word. They'll think we're a fleet, and when they move into attack, Claire said, loading the weapons grid. We punch them in the gut, Iris spoke, her voice more steady than ever. 3 Imperial signals detected entering system edge. 1 heavy freighter, 2 escort frigates. Arrival in 4 minutes. Ethan took the command seat. Let's see if our plan works. Iris, keep us hidden until I say so. Time slowed. The enemy ships entered the drift, cautiously moving between debris and asteroid fields. Their scanners flicked around the wreckage, searching for threats. Then the decoy drones appeared. Unidentified vessels detected. One of the frigates transmitted. All ships to combat stations, prepare to intercept. As the Empire ships turned toward the drones, they drifted deeper into the trap. Now, Ethan said quietly. The mines exploded without warning. A chain reaction tore through the first escort frigate. Ripping it open from below, the second frigate swerved, trying to flee. But Riley targeted its engines with a precision railgun shot. Direct hit. She called out, their propulsion is gone. The heavy freighter tried to turn, but the Silent Vengeance decloaked right in front of it. Claire fired 2 gravitic pulses into its hull, bending metal and crushing the cargo holds. They're not fighting back, Noah said, confused. They weren't ready for us, Ethan replied. We control the field. The battle was over in less than 2 minutes. From the freighter's broken comms, a voice came through. We surrender. We have civilians on board. Please don't shoot. Ethan stared at the console, his hand hovering over the controls. Civilians? He asked, confirming. Iris said. Scans show multiple non-combatants in cargo section, mostly technicians and supply workers. Claire lowered her weapon systems. Then, we board it, same as before. Take who we can, disable the rest. They moved quickly, landing inside the damaged freighter. This time there were no guards, only frightened workers and medical staff. Ethan found a boy no older than 10 clutching a small datapad. Are you going to kill us? The boy asked. No, Ethan said, kneeling. We're here to make sure you never have to work for them again. They brought the civilians onto the Silent Vengeance, 27 in total. All were given food, warmth, and safety as the freighter broke apart behind them. Riley looked at the newest passengers. They don't even know why they're in this war. Most of them don't, Ethan replied. They're just trapped in the middle. Back on the bridge, Iris lit up the star chart. 1 of the Empire ships sent a low-band signal before going down. It was short, but likely reached a listening post nearby. So they'll be coming, Noah said. Yes, Iris answered, and not with freighters next time. Ethan stood tall. Let them come. We're not afraid. Far away, in a hidden Imperial base, orbiting the planet Chorus, Commander Sorek slammed his fist on the table. Another convoy gone, at Vega Drift? His officer nodded. We think it's the same ghost ship. They use decoys, cloaking, and mines, sir. ... The crew is getting spooked. Sorek's eyes burned. Then it's time to burn the ghost out of hiding. Set a trap of our own. Send a distress call near the gas giant. Tell them it's a civilian shuttle. Let's see how heroic these Terrans really are. Back aboard the Silent Vengeance, Ethan sat beside the boy he had rescued. The boy stared at the stars. What's your name? Ethan asked. Cade, the boy said softly. Cade, do you know what freedom means? Cade shook his head. Ethan placed a hand on his shoulder. You're about to learn. The stars outside blinked as the Silent Vengeance turned toward its next destination, unaware that this time the Empire was already waiting. The planet Chistara shimmered below like a cracked pearl. Its once green surface was now ash and metal, scarred by the Empire's occupation. The colony cities had gone silent months ago. No signals, no supply routes, only rumors of survivors hiding underground. The Silent Vengeance exited faster than light, just outside the gravity well, drifting behind a shattered moon for cover. Chistara's still under blockade, Claire said, scanning the orbit. 3 cruisers, 1 battleship, and a swarm of drones, and no one's answered our calls. Ethan muttered. Either they're afraid or they think we're bait. Maybe we are, Noah added. Eyes scanning for traps, Riley zoomed in on the largest ship. That battleship's got a long-range cannon. If we're spotted too early, we won't make it to the surface. Iris spoke calmly. Recommend hit-and-run pattern. Deploy decoy drones and cloak between strikes. Use orbital debris for cover. Ethan nodded. Then we don't go in guns blazing. We break their focus, a piece at a time. The first move came with silence. 3 decoy drones launched, mimicking older Earth ships. They darted across the cruiser's view like flies. One of the Empire ships took the bait, unleashing a barrage of missiles. While their attention shifted, the Silent Vengeance dove out from behind the moon, cloaked fast. Claire targeted the nearest cruiser's engines. Fire! A precise blast ripped the cruiser's tail apart, spinning it into Chistara's orbit. We've got their attention now, Riley said, rerouting power to shields. They're launching drones, Noah warned. Lots of them. The ship shook as enemy fire closed in. Evasive pattern beta, Ethan ordered. The ship spun, weaved, ducked behind drifting chunks of old stations. It wasn't just raw power now, it was a dance. Rebel signal detected, Iris interrupted. Low-band transmission from the surface. Someone's alive down there. Claire's eyes widened. That's proof we need. We go in and get them. We won't survive a full descent unless we clear that path, Riley said, sweat on her brow. Ethan looked at the holomap, then made a decision. Split the drones, send half forward as bait, then cloak and punch through the southern orbit. Iris carried out the plan instantly. The decoy drones rushed the battleship, drawing its heavy fire. While the drones fell one by one, the Silent Vengeance slipped under its blind spot and angled for the surface. Then it happened. An explosion tore through the side of the ship. Hull breach! Riley yelled. Deck 6, automatic doors sealed, but Claire's down there. Ethan didn't wait. He ran from the bridge, down the corridor, past red warning lights and rising smoke. He reached the damaged section and forced the emergency door open. Inside, Claire lay on the ground, blood trailing from her shoulder. A piece of sharp metal had pinned her arm. I'm fine, she lied, teeth clenched. No, you're not, Ethan said, kneeling beside her. Hold still. He ripped the metal out and tied a bandage quickly, lifting her into his arms. The ship shook again. Walls groaning. Get us out of here. Ethan called through his cum. Riley's voice responded. We're in atmosphere now, 30 seconds to landing. The ship broke through the clouds like a falling shadow. Its engines screamed against the gravity, landing fast and rough near the old mining sector of Shistara. Ethan carried Claire to the med bay while Riley and Noah scanned the nearby buildings. Over. There, Noah pointed. Signals coming from that bunker. They approached carefully, weapons drawn. A hatch opened, and a small group of dirty, tired survivors stepped out, leading with a white-haired woman holding a cracked radio. Are you Terran? She asked. We're what's left, Ethan said. Come with us. We'll get you off this rock. They brought 32 survivors aboard, many weak, some injured, one child barely breathing. As the ship prepared to lift again, the enemy fleet reappeared on their scanners. They're trying to box us in, Riley said. We can't fight like this, not with civilians on board. Then we don't fight. Ethan replied. Iris, get us out of here. Engaging stealth jump, Iris said. Hold. On. The ship shimmered and vanished just as enemy missiles crossed the landing zone. In space, the Empire ship searched and scanned, but found nothing. Commander Sorek received the report minutes later. His fists clenched. They keep escaping, saving colonies, spreading hope. That's more dangerous than weapons, his aide asked. Should we escalate? Sorek nodded slowly. It's time to bait them with something they can't ignore. Back on the Silent Vengeance, Claire lay resting, her wound cleaned and bandaged. Ethan sat nearby, watching her breathe. She opened one eye. That was a terrible landing, you know, he smiled softly. You're welcome, by the way, outside the ship. Shistara burned behind them, but hope had left its ashes, and the war was far from over. The gas giant Chorus hung in the black like a hungry eye. Its swirling red clouds hid hundreds of storms beneath the surface, and above it, 5 Imperial destroyers and 1 dreadnought waited in silence. The Silent Vengeance approached slowly. Cloaked, drawn by a distress signal, single shuttle transmitting emergency codes. Noah said, frowning at the data. It's civilian registered. Heat signature shows life signs, but something's off. Claire sat upright in the med bay, ignoring her pain. It's a trap. It has to be. Maybe, Ethan replied. But what if it's not? We've rescued strangers before. We can't stop now. Riley adjusted the ship's scanning array. If we go in, we do it fast. Get out even faster, Iris interrupted. Detecting unusual energy buildup near the shuttle, recommend immediate retreat, but it was already too late. The trap sprung open, one by one. The destroyers revealed themselves, dropping their cloaks and forming a circle around the signal point. They were waiting for us, Claire said through gritted teeth. All weapons locked on us, Riley confirmed. Jamming systems active, we're boxed in. The dreadnought's voice boomed across the comms, cold and full of authority. This is Commander Varine of the Imperial Fleet. Identify yourself and surrender. The vessel known as Silent Vengeance. Ethan stood on the bridge, fists clenched. We don't surrender, not to tyrants. You have no path of escape. Viren replied, and we will not offer this chance again, Riley whispered. We could jump, but only if we survive the next 3 minutes. Then we survive, Ethan said. Iris. Disable jamming fields. Noah, find us a weak point. Claire, focus fire on the lead destroyer. The space around them erupted. Laser fire, missiles, and railgun shots turned the orbit into a glowing furnace. The Silent Vengeance dove through the chaos, spinning and weaving between enemy ships. We can't take much more, Riley yelled. Shields at 40%. Internal dampeners are failing. The ship rocked again as a direct hit tore through the left wing. Noah shouted, one of the destroyers is overcharging its core. If we hit it now, the explosion could disrupt the whole formation. Ethan gave the order. Do it, Claire fired a full burst of gravitic energy into the glowing ship. The destroyer lit up like a star, then exploded violently, sending shockwaves through the enemy circle. That gave us an opening. Riley shouted, 1 second rebooting jump core manually. Iris is offline. Ethan ran to the auxiliary control station, his fingers flying over the old panel. We're not dying here. Come on, old girl, wake up. Lights flickered, then a single voice returned, weaker now, but still alive. ... Matter weapon online. 1 shot remaining. That's all we need, Ethan growled. Aim at the dreadnought. The weapon charged slowly, glowing with unstable energy. Commander Viren saw it, his voice sharp with panic. Evade. All ships scatter. It's a prototype. Move. But it was too late. The silent vengeance fired. The dark matter cannon cut through space like a blade through smoke. It hit the dreadnought dead center, bending its hull, cracking armor like paper. The massive ship collapsed inward, then vanished into a glowing void. The remaining destroyers scattered, broken and leaderless. Jump core online, Riley confirmed, eyes wide with disbelief. Ethan gave the order. Get us out of here now. The silent vengeance blinked out of sight, just as enemy fire crossed where they'd been. On the bridge, silence fell. Everyone sat in stunned quiet, the hum of the engine the only sound. Claire leaned her head back and smiled. We just destroyed a dreadnought. We should be dead, Noah whispered. But we're not, Ethan said. And now they know we're not just a ghost. We're a force. Far away, hidden in deep space. The silent vengeance slowed to real-time drift. Their systems were damaged. Iris was weak, and they needed repairs. Riley checked on the AI core. She's fragmented but not gone. She sacrificed power to give us that last shot. She saved us, Claire said softly. Like she's one of us now. Ethan stood before the crew, looking each of them in the eye. What we've done. It's going to change everything. The Empire can't ignore us now. Colonies will hear about this. People will rise. And Earth? Noah asked, will they rise too? Ethan looked out the viewport, at the stars that now felt closer than ever. They will when they know they're not alone anymore. The silent vengeance drifted on, scarred but undefeated. A legend now forged in fire and silence. And somewhere in the ruins of Chorus Orbit, a new story began to spread. A forgotten ship, a handful of rebels, and a shot that shattered fear. The silent vengeance drifted through a quiet region of space. Stars glowed gently around it, far from any patrols or trade routes. The ship's hull was scorched, armor panels cracked, and the engines hummed with strain. Inside, the crew worked in silence, fixing what they could, patching what they couldn't. Iris is stabilizing, Riley reported, her voice tired but steady. I've managed to reconnect most of her core systems. But she's not speaking yet, Ethan nodded. Let her rest, she saved all of us. Claire limped onto the bridge, her shoulder still bandaged. No signs of pursuit. For now, we've disappeared again. Noah brought up the latest communication scans. But the galaxy's talking, multiple signals across the fringe sectors. Everyone's whispering about the ghost ship that destroyed a dreadnought. And they're calling it by name, Riley added with a grin. Silent vengeance, Ethan looked at the stars. Then it's time we stop running and start planning. We can't be everywhere, but we can make them think we are. The crew began sending encrypted messages to scattered rebel cells, mining colonies, even former smugglers, offering help, guidance, and hope. Iris's system managed to bounce the signals across dozens of abandoned relays, leaving no trace. A week later, the first response came. A small fleet of refugee ships had escaped an Imperial blockade near Kelros 5. They credited a mysterious Terran message that told them when and where to run. They think we're an army, Noah said, shaking his head. They think we've got dozens of ships, crews, bases. Good. Ethan replied. Fear works both ways. Let the Empire be the one looking over their shoulder now. Meanwhile, back on Earth, hidden government officials watch the same transmissions with rising curiosity. Is that one of ours? An advisor asked, pointing to a hazy image of the silent vengeance taken from a trade ship. No active fleet matches that design, another answered. This isn't official, this is buried history waking up. The president of Earth Alliance, a calm woman named Eliza Moore, watched the video carefully. Her voice was soft. Find out who's flying it. And tell our allies in the Outer Rim we may have just found our spark. Back on the Silent Vengeance, the crew gathered in the main hold. Ethan stood before a small crowd, former prisoners, rescued colonists, and the crew itself. You weren't soldiers, he said. Neither were we. But you've seen what the Empire really is. And now you've seen what it fears. He looked at Cade, the boy from the freighter, now standing a little taller, a little braver. We can't promise safety, but we can promise purpose. You don't have to fight, but if you want to help, we'll teach you, we'll train you. We'll build something better together. One by one, the group nodded. Hope was no longer a whisper, it was becoming action. That night, Claire sat in the observation room. Watching the stars, Ethan joined her, carrying 2 mugs of heated rations. You ever think we'd come this far? She asked. No, he admitted. But I always hoped. The galaxy is changing, she said quietly. Because of one ship, one crew. Because we chose to act, he replied. Suddenly, Iris's voice returned. Faint but clear. I have returned. Diagnostic complete. Ship integrity at 57%. Morale ... 71%. Everyone on the bridge froze, then laughed. You scared us, Iris. Riley said with a grin. I apologize, Iris replied. I was recovering, processing ... What it means to be alive. Ethan placed a hand on the console. You're one of us now, and we've still got work to do. Iris displayed a galactic map. Blinking lights across multiple systems. Rebel signals increasing, Empire forces redirecting. They are uncertain and afraid. Claire leaned forward. Then we strike again, not just battle symbols. Every colony we save, every ship we help, we remind them, Earth is not broken. Ethan smiled. Let's write a legacy no one can bury again. Far across space, in the Imperial capital, High Command gathered in silence. A single message had reached their encrypted channels. A broadcast from an unknown ship. Distorted but clear. We were forgotten, but we remember. We were buried, but we rise. This is not the end of Earth. It's the beginning of the reckoning. Empire now understood. The Silent Vengeance was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol, a forgotten blade, and it had only just begun.